The rain felt like tiny needles against my skin. Each drop was cold, angry, and unforgiving. I stood alone in the parking lot of a rest stop somewhere between nowhere and nothing, watching the red taillights of Daniel's car disappear into the darkness. My husband had just left me here. On purpose. "Maybe this will teach you to appreciate what you have, Emma," he had said, his voice calm and cold like winter ice. Then he drove away, leaving me without my phone, without money, without anything except the clothes on my back and the rain soaking through to my bones. But Daniel made one mistake that night. He thought I would break. He thought I would cry and beg and learn my lesson like a good little wife. He had no idea what was coming. Let me take you back to where this all began, because every storm has a beginning, and mine started 3 years earlier on what seemed like the happiest day of my life. I met Daniel Carter at a coffee shop on a Tuesday morning. He wore an expensive suit and had a smile that could melt chocolate. He told me I was beautiful. He told me I was special. He told me he wanted to take care of me forever. I believed him. We got married 6 months later. It was a small wedding, just Daniel's family and my brother Marcus. My parents had passed away when I was young, leaving me a trust fund that would unlock when I turned 30. Daniel knew about the money. He said it didn't matter. He said he loved me for me. Another lie. The first year was like living in a dream. Daniel bought me flowers every week. He took me to fancy restaurants. He told me I didn't need to work because he made plenty of money as a financial advisor. He said his job was to take care of other people's money, and he would take care of mine too. So I let him. I added his name to my bank accounts. I signed papers he brought home from work. I trusted him with everything, because that's what wives do, right? They trust their husbands. Wrong. By the second year, things started to change. Daniel stopped bringing flowers. He started asking questions about every dollar I spent. He wanted to know why I bought new shoes. He wanted to know why I had lunch with my brother Marcus. He wanted to know everything. "I'm just trying to help us save money, Emma," he would say with that same charming smile. "Don't you want us to have a good future?" Of course I did. So I tried harder to make him happy. I stopped buying things. I stopped seeing Marcus as much. I stopped being me. But it was never enough. The account started getting empty. When I asked Daniel about it, he got angry. Really angry. "You think I'm stealing from you?" he shouted, his face turning red like a tomato. "After everything I do for you? Maybe you're just too stupid to understand how money works." He had never called me stupid before. The word hit me like a slap. I started checking our bank accounts in secret. That's when I saw it, thousands of dollars moving out every month. Daniel was taking our money and putting it somewhere else. Somewhere I couldn't see. When I asked him about it again, he got quiet. Dangerously quiet. "You need to learn your place, Emma," he whispered. "You need to understand that I'm in charge here."
Not you. Me.
That's when the real Daniel came out. He took away my credit cards. He took away my car keys. He gave me a small allowance every week like I was a child. He told me when I could leave the house and when I couldn't. He read my text messages. He listened to my phone calls. I was a prisoner in my own life. My brother Marcus noticed something was wrong. He called me one afternoon when Daniel was at work. "Emma, are you okay?" Marcus asked, his voice full of worry. "You don't sound like yourself anymore." I wanted to tell him everything. I wanted to scream and cry and beg for help. But Daniel had installed cameras in our house. He was always watching, always listening. "I'm fine," I lied. "Just tired." But Marcus didn't believe me. Marcus never believed my lies. He's my big brother, and big brothers have a special power. They can see through fake smiles and forced laughs. "If you need me, I'm here," Marcus said. Always. I didn't know it then, but those words would save my life. 3 weeks before the rainy night, something happened that changed everything. I was cleaning Daniel's office when I found a folder hidden under a stack of papers. Inside were documents, lots of them. Bank statements showing accounts I didn't know existed. Letters from elderly people thanking Daniel for helping them with their retirement money. Emails about moving money to places called offshore accounts. Daniel wasn't just controlling my money. He was stealing from other people too. Old people. Weak people. People who trusted him just like I had trusted him. My hands shook as I held those papers. I felt sick to my stomach. The man I married wasn't just mean, he was a criminal. That's when I made my decision. I was going to take him down. But I had to be smart. Smarter than Daniel. Smarter than I'd ever been before. So, I started making a plan. A secret plan. I took pictures of the documents with an old camera I found in the garage. I hid them in places Daniel would never look. I started writing down everything. Every mean word. Every threat. Every time he took money without asking. And I called Marcus. I need your help, I whispered into the phone one night when Daniel was asleep. But you have to trust me, and you cannot tell anyone yet. What's going on, Emma? Marcus asked. Daniel is hurting me. Not with his fists, with money and control and lies. And he's hurting other people too. I need to stop him, but I need time to build my case. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he said the words that gave me hope. Tell me what you need. I'm with you. All the way. That's when everything changed. That's when I stopped being a victim and started being a fighter. But Daniel still had one more lesson to teach me. One more way to try to break my spirit. Which brings us back to that rainy night at the rest stop. Standing in that rain, water dripping down my face, I felt something powerful wash over me. Not fear. Not sadness. Anger. Pure, burning, unstoppable anger. Daniel thought leaving me here would crush me. He thought I would sit down and cry like a lost puppy. He thought this would be my breaking point. But he forgot something important. I had been planning for this moment. My hand reached into my jacket pocket, the one Daniel never checked because he thought I was too scared to hide anything. Inside was a small recording device Marcus had given me 2 weeks ago. It was no bigger than a thumb drive, but it had captured everything. Daniel's cruel words in the car. His cold laugh as he told me to think about what I'd done wrong. The sound of his car door slamming. The engine starting. Him driving away. All of it. Recorded. I pressed the button to stop the recording, then pulled out the second thing in my pocket, a phone. Not my phone. Daniel had taken that. This was a secret phone Marcus had bought for me, registered under his name, untraceable to Daniel. I dialed Marcus's number. He answered on the first ring. Emma? Are you okay? Where are you? Highway 42, Riverside Rest Stop, I said, my voice steadier than I expected. He left me here, Marcus. Just like we thought he might. I could hear Marcus moving, grabbing keys, probably already running to his car. I'm coming right now. 20 minutes. Are you safe? I'm safe, I said, and for the first time in 3 years, I actually meant it. And Marcus? I got it all on tape. There was a pause. Then Marcus laughed, not a happy laugh, but the laugh of someone who knows justice is finally coming. That idiot, Marcus said. He just handed us everything we need. While I waited for Marcus, I made 3 more calls. The first was to Valentina Rodriguez, a forensic accountant Marcus had found for me. Valentina was a genius with numbers. She could look at a bank statement and see lies hiding in every line. For 2 months, she had been secretly investigating Daniel's accounts. Emma, are you all right? Valentina asked when she answered. Better than all right, I said. It's time. Start the full audit. Pull everything. I don't care if it takes all night. Consider it done, Valentina said, and I could hear the click of her keyboard already. Emma, we're going to bury him. The second call was to Rebecca Stone, the divorce attorney Marcus had hired. Rebecca was known as the shark of family law. She didn't just win cases. She destroyed people who hurt her clients. Emma, Rebecca's voice was sharp and focused. Talk to me. He abandoned me at a rest stop in the rain, I said. I have it recorded. How fast can you file emergency orders? I can have papers ready by morning, Rebecca said. Restraining order, asset freeze, emergency custody of all marital property. Emma, when this hits, it's going to hit hard. Are you ready? I looked up at the rain falling from the black sky. I thought about 3 years of being controlled. 3 years of being told I was stupid. 3 years of watching my own money disappear while Daniel smiled and lied. I've never been more ready, I said. The third call was the hardest. I dialed a number I had found in Daniel's hidden files, a woman named Jennifer Walsh. According to the documents, Jennifer was Daniel's business partner's wife. She had sent Daniel an email 6 months ago that said, "I can't keep lying for him anymore. This is wrong." I didn't know if Jennifer would answer. I didn't know if she would help. But I had to try. "Hello." A nervous voice answered. "Jennifer? You don't know me, but my name is Emma Carter. I'm Daniel Carter's wife." There was a long silence. "Oh my God," Jennifer whispered. "I hope someone would call. I prayed someone would stop him." "Then help me," I said simply. "Tell me what you know." And Jennifer told me everything. She told me about the offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. She told me about the fake investment schemes Daniel and her husband created. She told me about the elderly people they targeted, people who had saved their whole lives, only to have Daniel steal it all with fancy words and false promises. "There's more," Jennifer said, her voice shaking. "Daniel's mother knows. She helped him. She would call the elderly clients and pretend to be from the bank, getting them to share their passwords and account numbers." Emma, this goes deep. My heart pounded. Daniel's mother, Patricia, had always been sweet to me. She baked cookies. She called me dear. She was a monster in disguise. "Will you testify?" I asked Jennifer. "Will you help me stop them?" "Yes," Jennifer said, and I could hear her crying. "Yes. I'm so tired of being scared. I'm tired of lying. I'll tell everything." By the time Marcus pulled up in his truck, I had 4 allies, a recording that would destroy Daniel in court, and a fire in my belly that nothing could put out. Marcus jumped out and wrapped me in a huge hug. "You're freezing. Get in the truck." As I climbed into the warm cab, Marcus handed me a towel and a thermos of hot chocolate. While I dried off, he asked, "What now?"
Now,
I said, taking a sip of the chocolate. "Now we build the case that sends Daniel to prison." The next 8 months were like living in a spy movie. During the day, I pretended to be the same scared wife Daniel expected. I cooked his meals. I cleaned the house. I said, "Yes, dear," and of course, honey, and smiled when he told me I was lucky to have him. But at night, I became someone else. Marcus installed tiny cameras throughout our house, cameras so small they looked like electrical outlets or smoke detectors. Every conversation Daniel had, every phone call, every meeting with his criminal partners, we caught it all. Valentina worked like a detective, tracing money through dozens of accounts. She found money Daniel had stolen from his clients, over $2 million. She found the fake companies he created. She found the web of lies he had built over 10 years. "Emma, this is bigger than we thought," Valentina told me during one of our secret meetings at Marcus's apartment. "Daniel didn't just steal from you and his clients. He stole from your family trust too. The trust your parents left you? He's been draining it for 2 years." I felt sick. My parents' legacy, the money they saved to protect me, Daniel had stolen it. "How much?" I asked quietly. "Almost $500,000, Valentina said. "But here's the good news, we can prove it. Every transaction has his digital fingerprint on it." He thought he was smart, but he got sloppy. Rebecca was building a legal case that would make history. She filed the emergency orders the morning after the rest stop incident. Within hours, all of Daniel's accounts were frozen. He couldn't touch a single penny without court approval. I'll never forget the look on Daniel's face when the police served him the restraining order. "What is this?" he shouted, waving the papers at me. "Emma, what did you do?" I stood in our kitchen, calm as a summer morning, and said, "I protected myself from a thief and a liar. That's what I did." His face turned purple with rage. "You're going to regret this. I'll take everything from you. I'll make sure you end up on the street." But he couldn't touch me. The restraining order meant he had to leave our house. The house I had helped pay for with my money. Security guards Marcus hired escorted Daniel out while he screamed threats and promises of revenge. When the door finally closed behind him, I sat down on the couch and cried. Not sad tears, but tears of relief. I was free, but the battle was just beginning. Jennifer kept her promise. She gave us files, emails, and recorded phone calls. She even wore a wire to a meeting with Daniel's partners and got them talking about their crimes. Then came Nadia, another victim who found the courage to speak up. Nadia was 78 years old. Daniel had convinced her to invest her entire retirement savings, $300,000, into a fake company. She lost everything. I thought he was such a nice young man, Nadia told me when we met at Rebecca's office, tears rolling down her wrinkled cheeks. He called me Grandma Nadia. He brought me flowers on my birthday. And the whole time, he was stealing from me. I held Nadia's hand and made her a promise. We're going to get your money back, I said. And we're going to make sure Daniel never hurts anyone again. Nadia squeezed my hand. You're a warrior, Emma. Don't ever forget that. As the evidence piled up, Rebecca prepared for the big courtroom hearing. The judge would decide if Daniel should face criminal charges. If we won, Daniel would go to trial. If we lost, he might walk free. The hearing is in 3 days, Rebecca told me. Are you ready to face him? I thought about that rainy night. I thought about 3 years of fear. I thought about all the people Daniel had hurt. I'm ready, I said. And I meant it. The courthouse was huge and cold, with marble floors that echoed every footstep. I wore a simple blue dress, the same color as the sky, after a storm clears. Rebecca said it made me look trustworthy and strong. I felt like I was going to throw up. Daniel sat across the courtroom with his fancy lawyers, 3 of them, all wearing expensive suits. He wouldn't look at me, not once. His jaw was tight, and his hands were folded on the table like he was praying. Too late for prayers, Daniel. The judge was a woman named Honorable Patricia Morrison. She had silver hair pulled back in a tight bun and glasses that made her look like she could see straight into your soul. She didn't smile. She didn't joke. She just looked at the mountain of folders on her desk and said, "Let's begin." Rebecca stood up, and suddenly the whole room felt like it was hers. Your Honor, Rebecca began, her voice clear and powerful, what we will show you today is not just a case of divorce. This is a case of systematic financial abuse, elder exploitation, fraud, and criminal conspiracy spanning over a decade. Daniel's lawyers tried to interrupt, but Judge Morrison held up her hand. I'll hear the evidence. Proceed, Ms. Stone. What happened next was like watching a movie, except it was real, and it was MY life. Rebecca showed the recording from the rainy night. The entire courtroom heard Daniel's cold voice. Maybe this will teach you to appreciate what you have, Emma. They heard him drive away. They heard the rain. One of the jurors, a grandmother with kind eyes, shook her head in disgust. Then Valentina took the stand. She pulled up charts and graphs on a big screen, showing exactly where Daniel's money went. She traced $2 million from elderly clients into offshore accounts. She showed how Daniel created fake companies with names that sounded real but didn't actually exist. Mr. Carter was extraordinarily careful, Valentina explained, pointing to the screen. But he made one critical mistake. He used the same laptop for personal emails and business fraud. We recovered everything from his hard drive. Daniel's face went white. His lawyers whispered frantically to each other. Then came Jennifer's testimony. She walked to the witness stand wearing a simple black suit, her hands shaking. But when she started talking, her voice was strong. I watched Daniel and my husband destroy lives, Jennifer said, looking straight at Daniel. They would target people who had just lost a spouse, people who were lonely and vulnerable. They'd become their friends first, then slowly convince them to invest in fake opportunities. And did Mr. Carter's mother participate in this scheme? Rebecca asked. Yes, Jennifer said. Patricia Carter would call the victims pretending to be from the bank's fraud department. She'd say their accounts were in danger, and they needed to verify their information. That's how they got passwords and account access. The courtroom gasped. Daniel's mother, sitting in the back row, stood up and tried to leave. But 2 security guards blocked the doors. Judge Morrison's voice was like thunder. Mrs. Carter, S.E. down. You're not going anywhere. Patricia sat down, her face red with shame. Then came Nadia. Sweet, elderly Nadia with her white hair and flowered dress. She walked slowly to the witness stand, using a cane. But when she spoke, there was fire in her eyes. That man, she said, pointing at Daniel, called me Grandma Nadia. He came to my house for Sunday dinners. He helped me set up my computer. And then he stole $300,000 from me. My husband worked 40 years as a teacher to save that money. 40 years. And Daniel took it in 6 months. A tear rolled down Nadia's cheek. I had to move out of my house. I live with my daughter now. I eat soup from cans because I can't afford anything else. All because I trusted him. The courtroom was so quiet you could hear people breathing. Daniel finally looked up, but not at Nadia. He looked at his lawyers like they could somehow make this all disappear. They couldn't. Then Rebecca called me to the stand. My legs felt like jelly as I walked up. I put my hand on the Bible and promised to tell the truth, as if I would do anything else. Emma, Rebecca said gently, tell the court about your marriage. I took a deep breath and told them everything. The control, the isolation, the stolen money, the cameras Daniel installed to watch me, the way he made me feel small and stupid and worthless. Why didn't you leave sooner? Rebecca asked. Because he made me believe I couldn't survive without him, I said, my voice cracking. He made me believe that I was nothing, that I had nothing, that I was nothing. And what changed? Rebecca asked. I looked at Daniel for the first time since entering the courtroom. He was staring at his hands. I found out he was hurting other people, I said. When it was just me, I thought maybe I deserved it. Maybe I was stupid. Maybe I was the problem. But when I saw what he did to Nadia, to Jennifer, to dozens of other innocent people, I knew I had to stop him. Not just for me. For everyone. Judge Morrison was writing notes, her face serious and thoughtful. Then something amazing happened. The courtroom doors opened, and federal agents walked in. Real federal agents in dark suits with badges. Your Honor, one of them said, we have warrants for the arrest of Daniel Carter and Patricia Carter on federal charges of wire fraud, elder abuse, and money laundering. Daniel's lawyers started shouting. Your Honor, this is highly irregular. We haven't been informed. Judge Morrison slammed her gavel. Enough. The evidence presented today clearly shows probable cause for criminal prosecution. I'm issuing immediate orders. All of Mr. Carter's assets are frozen pending full investigation. He is to surrender his passport. And based on the flight risk and severity of charges, I'm denying bail. Daniel stood up, his face furious. This is insane. Emma is lying. She's just a bitter wife trying to... Mr. Carter, Judge Morrison interrupted, her voice ice cold. I've seen the evidence. I've heard the recordings. I've listened to multiple witnesses. The only liar in this courtroom is you. Officers, take them both into custody. The federal agents moved toward Daniel and his mother. Patricia started crying, but Daniel just stood there, frozen, as handcuffs clicked around his wrists. As they led him past me, Daniel finally looked into my eyes. He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something, maybe apologize, maybe threaten me one last time. But I spoke first. You should have never left me in that rain, Daniel, I said quietly. Because that's when I stopped being afraid of storms. They took him away. 6 months later, Daniel was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. His mother got 8 years. Their accomplices received various sentences, and over 24 victims came forward to file civil lawsuits. Valentina helped recover almost all of the stolen money. Nadia got her $300,000 back, plus interest. She sent me a card that said, "Thank you for being my hero." I cried when I read it, but something even more amazing happened. With the money recovered from MY Family Trust, the money Daniel had stolen, I started something called the Phoenix Foundation. It's a place where people who've been financially abused can get help. We offer free lawyers, accountants, counselors, and most importantly, we offer hope. Marcus became the foundation's director of security, making sure every person who walks through our doors is safe. Valentina volunteers her time teaching people how to protect their money. Rebecca trains other lawyers to recognize financial abuse. And Jennifer? She became our star volunteer, using her story to help others find the courage to speak up. On the one-year anniversary of that rainy night, I stood outside our new shelter building. It was brick and stone, with big windows that let in lots of light. Above the door was a sign that read, "From Storm to Strength, the Phoenix Foundation." Marcus stood beside me, his arm around my shoulders. "Mom and Dad would be so proud of you," he said softly. I smiled. "I think they'd be proud of both of us." A woman walked up to the entrance, young, scared, with a black eye and trembling hands. She looked at the sign, then at me. "Is this really a safe place?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. I walked over and took her hand gently. "Yes," I said. "This is a safe place. And you're not alone anymore. Come inside. Let me tell you a story about a rainy night and what happened next." She followed me inside, and I knew this was my purpose. This was why I survived. Not just to escape Daniel, but to light the way for others to escape too. Because sometimes, the worst storms in our lives teach us how to build shelter for those who come after us.